Some people just seem to have impeccable luck. And I'm not just talking about some guy that wins like a scratch off or someone who hits the most ridiculous buzzer beater. I'm talking about people finding hundreds of thousands of dollars or nonchalantly stepping to the left while crossing the street without looking and then having like a semi turn to the corner flip over inches away from your face. Meanwhile, I'm the type of person that would just be chilling in my house and have that same semi just slam through my room taking me out. We here at Top 5 Central need your help because we don't have the best luck, so one like equals one piece of luck. Don't let us down. Also, be sure to subscribe and you'll find a leprechaun in your backyard. And yes, no backyard means no leprechaun, but if you don't got one, still, like the video. We got 10,000 more pancakes to send out to subscribers. Okay, you know what? Let's just get into it. Number 10. You've all heard the expression throwing money away, right? Well, that's kind of exactly what happened in this story, and it was nearly lost forever. Basically, this recycle plant worker was sorting through buckets of old scrap metal, but he saw something at the bottom that looked like green paper, almost like money. I mean, me being me, I probably would have just like brushed it off thinking it was like scrap paper or something. But this dude was a lot smarter than me and decided to take a look. Turns out, it was a huge pile of savings bonds that had been thrown out by mistake, worth over $20,000. The worker could have just thrown them out, but instead he made tons of phone calls until he found the owner and reunited them with their inheritance to give this story a happy ending. I wonder if he could have just like turned them in himself or keep them because man, this guy is a lot more noble than what I was thinking.
I'm digging that through an old barrel and I look down and I see some green stuff that looks almost like money down in the bottom.
What he found was worth $22,000.
And I pull it out and it's U.S. savings bonds.
Rogers knew there had to be a record of who bought them. He and his wife researched all the names associated with the notes, made some phone calls, and asked lots of questions.
What would you do though? Keep them for yourself or do the research, find out who they actually belong to? Drop a comment and let me know. Number 9. Do you ever make a mistake so bad you just want to kick yourself? Well, if you said yes, then you definitely know how this guy feels. The story is, when a famous artist died, a lawyer hired a cleaner to take away anything not valuable, while all the precious stuff was sold off instead. However, the cleaner accidentally took home an old barrel that looked like trash, and the lawyer let him do it. That would all be fine, except the barrel wasn't rubbish at all. It was filled with ancient Mayan treasure worth over $16,000. In fact, the lawyer was so mad at the mistake, he wouldn't even congratulate the dude on his accidental find. But hey, if I was the cleaner, I'd be super psyched. Number 8. Everyone knows that storage units are the best places to find forgotten treasures, but I don't think anyone expects to find something like this. I mean, this find literally happened on the lot where they filmed Storage Wars, but there were no cameras rolling because the storage unit wasn't considered exciting enough. Well, I think it's pretty exciting though, because it contained a bunch of gold coins and gold and silver bars, which add up to a ridiculous amount of money. How much? Somewhere around $500,000 for a unit that only cost around $1,000 in the first place. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how storage units work, but me personally, I would feel so crappy if I was bidding against a dude, lost, and thought he was like a sucker just to literally unveil gold bars. Like, geez, feels bad, man.
The unidentified man from San Jose bought the storage unit at auction last month, sight unseen, run by the same auction company featured in the A&E show Storage Wars, by the way. The container held about 16 gold Spanish coins, quite a few silver Spanish dollars, and several gold and silver bars. All told, worth about $500,000. Not bad for an $1,100 investment.
Number 7. Now my favorite thing about this story is that so many things could have stopped it from happening, but somehow everything worked out just right. I mean, first off, these guys were supposed to be on vacation, but they ended up staying home because of a broken refrigerator. Then they bought a scratch-off ticket, but threw it out before even doing it, and then they forgot all about it. In fact, they only remembered it existed totally randomly, and it's even more random that the husband decided to dig through the trash to find it. It's a very good job that he did, because it ended up being like $1 million winning ticket. If you don't know, winning the lottery is even less likely than having a shark bite you on land in like Tennessee. So the fact that not only they won, but threw it away and still got it back is insane.
A family fortune that almost slipped through their fingers. Luckily, they remembered something they forgot, and that would eventually lead to one of the biggest surprises of their life.
He said, "Oh my gosh, I think I must have thrown them away."
Next morning, I got up and I remembered that I cleaned the counters off, and that's where I left the bag with the tickets in it. The one with the lottery ticket was in the bottom one.
So Joe dug through the garbage pail to find his scratch-offs.
Hoping it was there. I didn't know what I did with it. I never expected it to be a winner.
But in fact, it was a $1 million ticket.
Number 6. So furniture being thrown out and left on the street is nothing new, but what this woman found was more valuable than an old sofa or a broken table. I mean, she was just gonna go get some coffee when she saw a huge red painting poking out from behind a trash bag, and she took it home without really knowing why. Like, she thought the painting and the frame looked super cheap, but when she asked an art dealer to value it, it turned out to be a lost painting by a super famous Mexican artist. Not just that, but it was worth up to $1 million and had been stolen from its rightful owner. The woman obviously returned it, and even though she didn't get $1 million, she did get $15,000 for doing the right thing, which is better than nothing at least.
This is the spot, however, where Ms. Gibson found this painting 4 years ago sitting in a pile of garbage. Turns out it isn't garbage. It's actually a 1970 painting stolen 20 years ago, and it's worth a lot of money. Who knew?
I know nothing about modern art. You need a sleek, spacious, all black or all white New York apartment to set it off, to have it not look silly. I had none of those things. I could not explain why I would take it, particularly since I was trying to declutter.
Well, Ms. Gibson now getting her wish. She'll be decluttering the painting, as she says, next month as it goes up for auction.
I'd still be kinda salty knowing I gave up something so valuable, but hey, knowing you're a good person when you sleep at night is worth something, right? Right? I can't believe I gave up $1 million. Why do you do this? Number 5. Now, most people think they'd know if they found something valuable, but this next story proves it's easy to have no idea. Like, this fisherman got his anchor caught on a shell when he was out at sea, and he brought the shell home with him as a good luck charm. I mean, it probably would have stayed as just that, but a fire forced him to move out and donate the shell to a tourism officer. That's when he found out the record-breaking clam held a record-breaking pearl, the biggest one ever found, and could be worth up to $100 million. Pretty crazy. Number 4. $500 might not seem like much compared to the other fortunes on this list, but for one guy, it made all the difference. I mean, this man had been unemployed for 4 years, and he had just gone through a massive breakup, so he wasn't in a great situation. Not only that, but it was his birthday, so he was hoping for some kind of miracle to try and change his life or make the day better. It turns out he got one, because a customer ripped up a lottery ticket right in front of him, and he was so desperate he went dumpster diving to collect the pieces. The ticket ended up being worth $500. Not a crazy amount, but enough to turn the birthday boy's life around, and hey, I still think finding $500 in the trash is pretty cool.
I slept in one of these before.
This was not how Lorenzo Juarez planned to spend his 39th birthday, in a dumpster, but he was on a mission.
I just went in it, and I started picking through a piece at a time.
Just a few minutes earlier, he was inside Orlando's market in downtown Stockton to get some water when a customer ahead of him got angry and tore up a scratch-off lottery ticket.
The guy insulted him and said, "You know what I think of you and your store?" and ripped it up. I don't need the money.
The pieces ended up inside this trash bin around the block. Juarez heard they were there and went dumpster diving to retrieve them.
People started staring at me, and I was like, you know, I got nothing left to lose. 4 years of bad luck, and it came together today.
Number 3. So the basic version of this story goes like this. A man buys a super ugly and not valuable painting just because he likes the frame. He throws the painting out, and when he finds out the frame isn't worth anything either, he throws that out too. Doesn't sound like a happy ending, I know, but there is something behind the frame that meant the purchase definitely wasn't a waste of time. The painting had been used to hide an original printing of the Declaration of Independence, one of just 24 copies in existence. Not just that, but the painting had kept the print in perfect condition, and he decided to just keep it around because he thought it was interesting, making him $800,000 to $1 million richer. Yeah, he may have come out richer from destroying the painting, but please don't start breaking apart every picture frame because I think this event might be a bit rarer than ripping up all your mom's artwork. Number 2. Most of these stories have had a happy ending, but this one, well, this one just doesn't. Basically, this man started mining Bitcoin way back in the early days when no one knew about it, but then he took apart his computer and threw the hard drive in just a random drawer. That would have been fine, but then he accidentally threw the hard drive in the trash and only realized once 4 years worth of landfill had buried it. That's a extremely sucky situation, but it gets worse because now the Bitcoins he mined and lost are worth $108 million, and there's basically no way he's getting that back. I mean, I'd probably cry myself to sleep every single night. Like, that is literally the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
All the files that I believed I needed were already on my new computer. The drive was in a drawer on its own after an incident with a previous laptop, and I thought that I'd taken off everything I needed.
Any hesitation, any moments before you chucked it in with the boxes and the bottles to bring down?
As soon as I put it in the bin at home, I had a second thought, in the back of my mind. You've never thrown a hard drive out before. Why start now? You shouldn't do this, sort of thing. A little demon in the back of my head, sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I didn't take it out. It stayed in the bin and then came down to the landfill site here with the other bags that I brought.
Number 1. Winning the lottery is one of those dreams that people go crazy for, so it's not surprising that arguments about tickets could end up in court. This story sounds like something straight out of a movie. One man bought every ticket in the store but threw the $1 million ticket out, and the other found it in the trash. The two men then went to court over who technically owned it, but the rich man died before it could be settled. His kids picked up the fight and eventually split the money like this. The estate got $7,000 a year for 20 years, while the man who found it got $43,000 a year. Talk about terrible luck. And there's our video on the top 10 luckiest and most expensive things found in the trash. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one here considering going and buying a huge pair of gloves and just digging through my trash hoping to find $1 million. But anyways, make sure to like this video and you will find $1 million. Okay, probably not, but still like the video, subscribe if you haven't already so you get notified when we post a video. Anyways, hope you enjoyed, have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll see you all in the next video.